What do I need to do now? Press this button and I'm back. Yes, I'm back. All right. So sorry about that, you guys. I'm still figuring out and trying to learn all the all the buttons here, but yeah, I managed to solve it without Julian's help. But thanks, Julian. He was on the way. So hey, welcome to the class, guys. Very nice to see all of you again. Whoa, lots of people. I can't read the chat is so fast. But I see a lot of people here today, so thank you everybody for coming. Hello to Paulo, Joao, Rosa, Ben, Jacqueline. We also have Hidayah, Fabienne, Khalil, Hanan, Ali, Yassine. Lots of new people also that I haven't seen before, so thank you guys for coming. Welcome to the class. Karwan, Sarah, Yassine, Anwar. Lots of new people. Awesome. Very, very, very nice to have you guys join me this week. So let's get to it. So hello, my name is Karim. If you have not been to any of my classes before, I'm a teacher here at Canadian College of English Learning, and I've been teaching here for about 5 years, and I've been using Smrt for the same time. So I've been using Smrt for about 5 years now at my job, and I love it, which is why I decided to start doing this stream. Rosa says, hello, thank you, Rosa. Very nice to see you too. So I've been teaching Smrt here for 5 years, and so hopefully I'll be with you guys every Wednesday at about the same time. Also, for those of you who are interested, I do host another YouTube channel on YouTube. It's called Food AF, and it's very different from this one, right? So it's a food channel. So if you like food and you like eating, please go and check me out over there, right? So that's Food AF. And I think you'll find the links to my other channel in the description of this video. Okay, so let's, Anwar says, best wishes to you. Thank you, Anwar, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's start with this week's lesson. So this week we're doing another grammar lesson, and we are going to be talking about 3 verbs. So again, if you have not been to my classes before, let me see, let me just become a little bit smaller here and get this so you guys can see everything. So if you haven't been to my streaming classes before, I usually I focus more on lower intermediate to intermediate English, which in Smrt is English 120. So today we are going to be doing a grammar lesson from Unit 1. And remember, I think the very first lesson that we did was the vocabulary from Health and Body. So today we're going to be doing grammar, and we are going to be doing the very first one, which is 3 kinds of verbs. Hi, Melinda. Welcome to the class. Melinda says, hi, everyone. Finally, I'm here. It's 5:10 a.m. in Vietnam. That is very early, Melinda. I don't think I would wake up for this class at 5 a.m. But I appreciate very much that you did. So thank you very much for that. Okay. So let's get started. So this week we're talking about verbs, and we are going to be talking today about 3 kinds of verbs. So I'm going to introduce 3 kinds of verbs. We're going to talk about them very briefly, and then I'm going to focus on just one of them. So 3 kinds of verbs that we have today. The very first verbs that we are going to be talking about are auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs. So auxiliary verbs are also very commonly known as helping verbs. So a lot of teachers, when they explain auxiliary verbs, they like to call them helping verbs. Because that's what they do. That's what auxiliary verbs do, right? They're in the sentence to help usually another verb. So the auxiliary verbs that we will be talking about are the verbs to be, do, and have. So be, do, and have. Now, yes, so Khalil is saying helping verbs. Exactly, right? So another name for auxiliary verbs is a helping verb. So what are auxiliary verbs? It says these are used to change tenses or to make questions and negative sentences. So let's read that again. It says these are used to change tenses or to make questions and negative sentences. So notice that we did not mention positive sentences, right? So only in questions and negative sentences or to change tenses do we use the auxiliary verbs. Many teachers and students call auxiliary verbs helping verbs, like we just mentioned, because they help the main verb of a sentence. So let's take a look at some of the examples that they gave us here. So we have 3 pictures, and Patricia says it is midnight in France. Midnight in France. That's late, but I'm more of a people who like to stay up late. We call these kinds of people night owls, right? So night owls. So I'm personally a night owl. So midnight for me is a great time. But thank you for watching us this late. All right, so let's take a look at the first example. I don't like traveling to cold countries. Now notice we're talking about auxiliary verbs. So do here, or do not, right, is not the main verb of the sentence, right? It's helping the main verb, and the main verb is traveling, right? So that's the main verb of the sentence, what you're trying to say. And don't is there just to help make the meaning, right, in the sentence for the cold. Paulo says you need to encourage us to wake up early or not go to work to watch your class. Paulo, I go to bed very late every day, and I still wake up early to go to work. So that's not an excuse, or at least I can't use that excuse or I'll get fired, because that's my daily life. Khalil says negative form. So yes, right? So as you noticed, we said we use the auxiliary verbs to change tenses or in making questions or negative sentences. So the first example was a negative sentence. And there you see it, the verb don't, right? So I don't or I do not like traveling to cold countries. The second example, he has already seen the movie. He has already seen the movie. So again, have here, right? Of course, we're saying has in this sentence structure because he, right? So he has already seen the movie. So once again, has is not the main verb. It's not the main verb in the sentence. It's helping the verb seen. And if you notice, this is a second, have, he, she, it. Yes, that's right, Khalil. Very good. Rosa says, because of my fiance, I became a night owl recently. You know, Rosa, that's exactly the same effect that I had on my wife. So my wife used to be a very early sleeper, but that changed after she married me. So, yeah. And the last sentence, are they leaving now? Are they leaving now? Right? So the verb to be in the last sentence, are they leaving now? And if you notice, the last one is a question. So auxiliary verbs, one more time, be, do, and have. Their function or the reason for auxiliary verbs in a sentence is to help the main verb. And that is why the other name for them is called a helping verb. The important thing to remember is we use them to make questions and or negative sentences. Okay, so the second type of verb that we are going to talk about today are modal auxiliary verbs. Modal auxiliary verbs. So modal verbs, I'm sure you guys have probably seen them a lot, even if you don't know that they're called modal verbs. But modal verbs are verbs like can, will, may, should, and there's a few others, right? Like must, ought to. These types of verbs we call modal verbs. So modal verbs are, as the unit here says, it says these are similar to the auxiliary verbs do, be, and have. Why? Because they, once again, they help a main verb in the sentence. They are not the main verb, right? So they're helping verbs also. Their function in the sentence is to help the main verb. They are different because they each have a special meaning. So in the following examples, right? Only in the following examples, right? So for the purposes of the examples, may is going to mean maybe. That's what we mean when we say may, right? So may means maybe. Can't, because remember, may can also mean permission. For example, may I have a glass of water, please, right? So here it means maybe. It's not the same as when you ask for something with may. Can't or cannot, it means that something is impossible, right? There's no way for it to happen, right? Or there's no way that whatever you're talking about can happen. So can't means impossible or unable to do something. And should is asking for advice, right? So one more time. May means maybe, can't means impossible or unable, and should is when you are asking for advice. Melinda's saying, do you see the green stain or just me who sees that stain? What green stain? Where's the green stain? Oh, I see it. That green stain. What is that green stain? I have no idea what that is. So it's very weird. Let me see if I move the camera, does that help? No. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what that green stain is. That's very strange. I'll see if I can get Julian to figure out what that is later. But I don't think it's bothering you guys too much, right? Like I can see it on the side screen here, but I don't think it's a big problem. Yeah, I did. I tried to move the camera, but I don't know. Nothing happened. Nope. There we go. Is that better? I think it's gone, right? The green stain is gone. I think it's gone, right? Okay. I don't see it anymore, so I think it's gone. Melinda says, I just thought my laptop screen had been broken. No. Well, thank God it wasn't that. All right. So let's continue. So remember, one more time. May means maybe, can't means that something is impossible or it cannot happen, and should is when we're asking for advice. So like the first example here, it says, it may rain tonight, right? It may rain tonight. So remember, we said may means maybe, not permission. So it might rain tonight, right? Similar to saying that it might rain tonight. It may rain tonight. So you're not sure. There's a 50-50 chance that it could rain. We can't get to the airport in 5 minutes. Remember, can't means something is impossible here or it is unable to happen. So we can't or we cannot get to the airport in 5 minutes. So it's impossible, right? So you need to be there in 5 minutes, and let's say you're, I don't know, maybe you're 20 kilometers away from the airport, or 30 kilometers, or 50 kilometers, and you need to be there in 5 minutes. So we can't get to the airport in 5 minutes. The last example says, should I pay a tip for that in Italy? Should I pay a tip for that in Italy? So a tip is money that we give to servers when we go to restaurants if we were satisfied with the service that they gave us, right? So if we had a good experience and we were happy with our service, you give the waitress or the waiter a little extra money on top of the bill, and that's called a tip. So should I pay a tip for that in Italy, right? So you don't know. You've never been to Italy before. You're not sure if people tip over there or they don't tip. Do you have to tip? Should I tip? Should I not? So you're asking for advice because you don't know, right? You want somebody's opinion or somebody's knowledge about something. So should I pay for a tip in Italy? So these were modal auxiliary verbs. Remember, I said I'm going to introduce 3 types of verbs, and then we're going to just focus on one of them today. So that was the second type of verbs, and the last one are, of course, full verbs. So what are full verbs? Full verbs, Rosa is saying maybe or probably. Actually, no, but that is a good point to talk about. So maybe means that you're not sure, right? If you say, if somebody asks you, for example, are you going to go to the beach today? And you say, maybe. That means you're not really saying yes and you're not really saying no, right? You are not sure. There could be a chance that I go and there might not be a chance that I go. But both chances are equal, right? So it's a 50-50 chance that I go to the beach, and at the same time, it's a 50-50 chance that I might not go to the beach. If I say probably, probably is not 100%. You're not saying that I am going, and you're not saying I am not going. But if you are to weigh it, if you say, are you going to go to the beach or not, and you say probably, probably is more of a yes. So there is a bigger chance to go, more than the chance not to go, right? I hope that makes sense. Melinda says probably is quite sure. No, not. It's also not quite sure, because if you're sure, that you're almost certain, right? That means you're not wondering about it. You're not thinking maybe yes, maybe no. You're sure, right? Probably is, I would say, more than 50% yes, right? So it's not a yes, but it's probably, right? That means more than 50% yes. So yeah. So Rosa says, got it. Awesome. Great. All right. The last type of verbs that we are going to introduce or mention today are full verbs. So full verbs are very simply all the other verbs that are not auxiliary verbs nor modal verbs. So like it says here, it says these are all the other verbs in the English language. We can also call these verbs the main verbs of a sentence, right? So full verbs, another name for them is also main verbs, the main verb of a sentence. Sorry. It's not certain. Yes. Yes, Khalil. Maybe is not certain, right? And probably also is not certain. Probably is just more than 50% in the yes direction, right? More than the no. Ben says, used when you are not certain that something will happen, or that something is true or is a correct number. I am not sure exactly what you're referring to, or what are you talking about, Ben? So if you're talking about maybe, then maybe is used when you are not certain that something will happen. Yes, that is correct. But I don't understand what you mean by the second half of the sentence, or that something is true or is a correct number. I don't get that part. But maybe is, yes, it's for the first part of your sentence, when you are not certain that something is going to happen or not. Anwar has another very good question. Anwar is asking possibly or probably. Possibly or probably. And that's a good question, because a lot of people sometimes they mix up the meaning of possibly and probably. So once again, like I said about probably, probably is more than 50% in the yes direction, right? Possibly is similar to maybe. So possibly just means that the possibility exists, right? The possibility of something happening is there. It could happen, but it also could not happen, right? It's possible, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. So let's give you an example to make things a little bit simpler. Let's say my son, for example, my son comes and asks me, Dad, can we go to the cinema next weekend? If I say to him, so Dad, can we go to the cinema next weekend? If I say possibly, that does not mean yes, but it does not mean no also, right? So I'm saying that there is a possibility that we can go, right? But I didn't say yes. If I say to him, probably, I didn't say 100% yes, but I said, but it's more towards yes than a no, right? So he should be happier if I say probably to him rather than possibly. El Salvador says perhaps. Perhaps is another way to say maybe. Yep. So perhaps is just another way to say maybe. All right, so let's get back to the last full verbs. So remember, full verbs, another very common name for them is main verbs. And it's very important to realize, like they say here, and this is a very good point, right? You should not forget. Be, do, and have, we just talked about them, and we said that they are helping verbs, right? Or they're auxiliary verbs. However, they can also be full verbs or main verbs. So it depends on the sentence, right? So sometimes the verb to be or do or have is the main verb in the sentence, and sometimes it's just a helping verb. In the following sentences, be, do, and have are full verbs. So let's take a look, or let's see an example where they are main verbs. So let's see here. It says, I did my homework last night. Now, notice that we said there are going to be main verbs in this sentence. So let's check if that is true. So remember, before did, if did is a helping verb, then there must be another main verb that it's helping. However, in this sentence, I did my homework last night. There is no other verb here. So did is not helping anything else. It's not helping another verb, really. And that's why it's basically the main verb, right? So it's the main verb in this sentence. I did my homework last night. Is he sick today? Now, notice that, once again, there is no other verb that is helping, right? Sick is not a verb. Sick is an adjective here. So is he sick today? And the same thing is in the last sentence. Let's have lunch together. Let's have lunch together. So one more time, there is no other verb. There's no other main verb in this sentence that have is helping. And that's why have in this example is a main verb. Of course, other examples of main verbs are the basic verbs that you know, right? Any other verb is a main verb. So if it's not an auxiliary verb or a modal verb, usually it's a main verb. Anwar says, so we can say probably is 70% and possibly is 50%. I personally don't like using percent to relate to words a lot because it's never really a percent, right? If you think about it, everybody says it in a different way. Everybody means a different percentage of whatever they're saying. But I would say that yes, possibly is 50% and probably is more than that. 70, that might be for you, right? Maybe when I say probably, I mean 90, or maybe when I say probably, I mean 75. The important part is it's more than 50, right? So probably means more towards the yes, and possibly is 50-50, I would say, yeah. Nareen says the context will tell whether they're full or auxiliary. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Okay, so let's continue. And this is Mark. Remember Mark? Mark was a very cool teacher that used to work with us here. Okay, so these are three main verbs that we have in English. And now we're going to actually focus today on the auxiliary verbs, right? So we're going to talk about the auxiliary verbs do, does, and did. So let's see. So we're going to start with do, does, and did. So do, does, or did are used in both the present simple and the past simple sentences to make questions and negative sentences. One more time, we use them in the present simple and the past simple to make questions and negative sentences. In positive sentences, the present simple or the past simple do not use the auxiliary verb, right? So please don't forget that. That's the important part here, right? So one more time, do, does, or did are okay in questions and in negative sentences when we are trying to make present simple and past simple sentences. For positive sentences, we do not use the auxiliary verb. Another very important point is in a negative sentence and the questions, the main verb takes the base form. Now, what does that mean? What is the base form of the verb? So we consider verb here, we talk about the past. Khalil says you can use adverbs of frequency. Yes, but I'm not sure how exactly or in what context you mean. But yeah, so anyway, so back to this. So base form of the verb just means the original form of the verb, right? So to eat or walk or stand or sleep or sit or run, right? The original form of the verb. So let's take a look first at the present simple. So present simple, remember we said negative sentences and questions. So he doesn't have any brothers or sisters. He does not have any brothers or sisters. In a question form, of course, we are going to start the question with our auxiliary verb. So, do all birds fly south for the winter? Do all birds fly south for the winter? Very important, like we said, the positive sentences does not have an auxiliary verb in it. So, I always put milk in my coffee. I always put milk in my coffee. Rosa says, I miss him so much, and I think you're talking about Mark. Yes, we all miss Mark. I agree with you guys. Everybody misses Mark. Mark was cool. Past simple. Oh, here's Mark again. Well, there you go. All right, for the past simple. So again, negative, it did not snow here last year. It did not snow here last year. Question, same thing. You start with the auxiliary verb. Did you buy anything yesterday? And like before, in the positive sentences, the auxiliary verb is not going to be included. So we're going to say, I saw that movie 3 times last year. I saw that movie 3 times last year. And I think you guys are pretty okay with this, because I remember from the past weeks, most of you were already writing sentences that were pretty good. All right, now let's talk about the verb to be, right? So auxiliary verbs be. So be, of course, and the different forms of it, right? So am, is, are, was, were, and been. So let's take a look at the continuous. So continuous, as I hope, and I'm sure you guys all know, is be plus not, and then the verb and ing. So continuous sentences describe actions that are in progress. What does in progress mean? Actions that are in progress. That means they're happening right now, right? So something that is in progress means it's active, right? It's happening right now. Or in temporary activities, right? So temporary means for a short period of time, not forever, right? Or the opposite of permanent. And please note the use of be even in positive sentences, right? So even in positive sentences. So remember, up here, when we were talking about do, does, and did, we said that they're only okay for the questions and negative sentences. In a positive sentence, we don't use the auxiliary verb here, right? Now it says here, notice the use of be in the positive sentence. So let's see. Positive, I am feeling much better today, right? I am feeling much better today. Question, once again, you start this time with the auxiliary verb for questions, same as before. So are you coming to the party tonight? Are you coming to the party tonight? And negative, we are not or we aren't doing anything at the moment. We aren't doing anything at the moment. For the past continuous, it's pretty much the same. You're just going to change your tense. So they were studying in class when it started to snow. Was she sleeping at 10 p.m.? Again, you start your questions with the auxiliary verb. Was she sleeping at 10 p.m.? Edward says, have you gotten a vacation? Is it good? I don't know who you're talking about. If you're talking about me, no, I haven't had a vacation yet. But things are good anyway. So thanks. And in the negative, of course, the wind was not blowing hard then. Now, passive. Or the passive voice, right? So a lot of people talk about the passive voice. And what does that mean? What is a passive voice? So normally when we talk about the passive, we also introduce the active, right? So an active voice or an active sentence versus a passive sentence or a passive voice. Ahmed says, what are you studying or what do you study? Both of these questions are okay. You can ask this way and you can ask that way. They're both really the same thing almost. So passive and active voices. So very simply, I'm going to try to explain this in an easy way, hopefully. An active voice or an active sentence very simply means that the subject is doing the verb, right? That means the main subject of the sentence is the same thing or the same person that is doing the verb in the sentence. So for example, if I say Karim bakes cakes, right? So I'm the subject in the sentence, Karim, and bakes, which is the verb, the main verb in the sentence, I am the one who's doing it, right? So the subject is the one that's doing the verb in the sentence. So Karim bakes cakes. That's the meaning of an active. Now the opposite of that is what we call a passive sentence. So in a passive sentence, the subject of the sentence is not doing the verb, but the verb is happening to it. And I hope that makes sense. That's the simplest way that I can think of to explain it. So let's take a look. It says passive is very simply the verb be plus not, and then a past participle. So passive sentences take the auxiliary verb be with a past participle, like these examples. Those phones are made in China, right? So those phones, as you can see, the subject of the sentence here is phones, are made in China. So are the phones doing any action in the sentence? No, right? They're not doing the action. So the action is happening to them. And that's what we mean when we say a passive sentence, right? So the subject is not doing the action, it is receiving the action, or the action is happening to it. In which situations I have to use the passive voice, Edward Ramirez says. Well, in a few situations, really, Edward. Sometimes you can use it when the subject is unknown in the sentence, or when the subject is not important. So for example, let's say you went to a store earlier today and it was closed. So you say, and I'll ask you, hey, did you go to the store? And you'll tell me, yes, but the store was closed, right? So who closed the store? Maybe you don't care, right? Or that's not important in the message. The message is the store was closed, right? So yeah, there's a few different situations that you can use it for. The cake was baked by Karim. Yeah, like that. Very good. Okay, so those phones are made in China, right? So present simple passive. The internet was invented in the 1960s. The internet was invented in the 1960s. So Edward, if you're still watching, this is a good example of what you of the question that you asked. So in this example, the internet was invented in the 1960s. Is it really, maybe it's not important in this context or in this conversation, you're not really focusing on telling me who invented the internet, you're just telling me when it was invented. You don't really care about who, or that was not important, or that was not the intention of what you wanted to say. Or maybe you don't know. Maybe you know when, but you don't know who, right? So that's an example of when you would use it. And the last one, has his room been cleaned recently? Has his room been cleaned recently? And this is a present perfect simple in the passive. Nareen says the cake was baked by Karim, I guess. Yes, you are correct. That is how you should write it. Very good. El Salvador says, who is Mark Roberts? Mark Roberts used to be a teacher here at school. And he was a very cool person. But yeah, he doesn't work here anymore. He's this guy that you see in this picture, Mark Roberts. Ahmed says, I thought it was invented in the 80s. No, the internet is actually much, much older than that. But it was not available to the public. So the internet started as a military project, and it was actually called DARPA before that, right? So DARPA. It was called DARPA. Mid-80s is when people started commercializing it, right? Making it more available to the public. And by 1995, that was really, I think, the year when the internet was very, very sort of almost everywhere in the world. But yeah. Okay, so let's carry on. So we talked about the auxiliary verbs be so far, right? We talked about do, does, and did. We talked about the passive voice. And now let's talk about the auxiliary verbs have. So have, has, and had. So, excuse me, sorry. Okay, so have plus not and your past participle. Perfect sentences take the auxiliary verb have with a past participle. And I think you guys already know that. So for example, I haven't seen that movie, right? I have not seen that movie. They have been studying really hard for the exam. They have been studying really hard for the exam. Had he eaten breakfast before coming to school? Had he eaten breakfast before coming to school? And this is your past perfect. So this is it's a very basic introduction, right? So as you can see, this is from unit. This is the very first actually thing in unit 1 in the level of 120. So it's a lot of small pieces of information, right, that cover a few different things as an introduction. So let's get to it. What's the time now? It's 3:46. We have about 10 minutes left. Ahmed says, thanks for the info. You're very welcome, Ahmed. Very welcome. All right, so let's do some exercises. So I'll get you guys to do some exercises based on the things that we've talked about today. So let's get you guys started. Where are we? Dum, dum, dum. All right, so the first exercise is actually very easy, or I think it's going to be very easy for you guys, judging from talking to you for the last 3-4 weeks. I believe that you are smarter than this exercise. All right, so let's see. So I'm going to give you, it's very simple, right? So all you have to do is you have to, the verbs in orange, you have to say, is it an auxiliary verb? Is it a modal verb? Or is it a full verb? So I'm just going to do maybe a few of these, not too much, because I really think it's going to be easy for you guys, right? And I don't want to give you things that are too easy. I want to make you work a little bit. Okay, so let's start with this page. So B, C, and D. I'll give you guys 30 seconds. Should be more than enough. And you just have to choose, is it auxiliary, modal? And Paulo says zoom in. Okay, got you. How's this? Can you see better now? Yep. I just did. Do you want me to make it even bigger than this? You still can't see? Yep. Oh, okay, great. All right, so I'll give you guys 30 seconds. This should not take too much time, and I will be back. Okay, so let's see what you guys did so far. So, ooh, lots of answers. All right, so B says, how much physical activity do you do every day? How much physical activity do you do every day? And as you can see, there's 2 people there standing holding dumbbells, and they look like they do a lot of physical activity. So lots of people are going full verb for B. Many, actually almost everybody I think is saying that. Yeah, everybody got it. Very, very well. Hidayah, Joao, Jacqueline, Paulo, Rafael, Ben, Rosa. Yeah, everybody got that. Excellent. Yeah, you're right. Very good job, guys. It's definitely a full verb in the first sentence. In the second sentence, it says, we may have to go home soon. We may have to go home soon. And most of you guys said, so C, modal verb, modal verb, modal verb, modal verb, modal verb, modal verb, And yes, again, almost everybody got it right. Really very well done. But I am not surprised, right? So I was completely expecting you guys to get this right. Let's see the last one. The last one is, why is she on a diet? She's already in shape. So she is already in shape. And for D, a lot of people are saying, so Jacqueline, Nareen, everybody's saying full verb, full verb. Hidayah says full verb, Rosa, full verb, Raphael, full verb. Yeah, so I am very not surprised by this. I know that you guys are awesome, and you got all of them right. Very well, good job. So I'll give you one more page, even though I know it's easy, but I'll give you one more page to do. So the next three, I'll give you another 30 seconds, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay. So let's see what you guys did. Again, I can see you guys answering. All of you are getting this right. Very well done. All right, so the first one says, why is your finger bleeding? Why is your finger bleeding? So very well, everybody got this. Everybody said that it's an auxiliary verb, and that is correct, because the main verb in this sentence is bleeding, right? So that's what's happening right now. That's the main verb. So very good. The second one says, what did you do last night? What did you do last night? And a lot of people, this is which one? FF. So you guys are saying full verb, full verb, full verb, full verb, full verb. Everybody's saying full verb, everyone. And you are correct. Very, very good. And the last one is G. And G says, I haven't had a cold in a long time. I haven't had a cold in a long time. And you guys are saying, so Rosa, Ibtisam, Nareen, Jacqueline, Hidayah, Raphael, Joao, Ben, everybody's saying it's a full verb, and you guys are perfectly correct. So, virtual high five. Okay, so let's carry on. Please forgive my my silliness every now and then. I can't help myself. All right, so number 2. That's a very shocking picture. I don't know, it's making me uncomfortable for some reason. Okay. Let's do the second exercise. So the second exercise is a little bit different, but again, it should be pretty easy because we are giving you choices. So it's very simple. All you have to do is which auxiliary verb completes the sentence. Now notice they're saying which auxiliary verb, right? So it has to be an auxiliary verb. So for example, in the first sentence, it says, in the spring, my eyes get very itchy, right? If you remember, we did the vocabulary for this before, itchy. In the spring, my eyes gets very itchy, but they, and you have to choose between aren't, haven't, and don't. So the answer here, as you can see, it's highlighted already. This is just the example. It says, in the spring, my eyes get very itchy, but they don't itch much during the rest of the year. So that's pretty much it, right? So you're just going to have to choose the correct verb. The only problem is these pictures are huge, and I don't know if I can show you more than one at the same time. So this is what I'm going to do, guys, right? So I'm going to put the picture, and I'm going to count for 10 seconds. I think 10 seconds is enough time for you to answer. And then I'll switch. I'll scroll down to the second picture. I'll leave it for 10 seconds, and that's how we're going to do it. Let's see if that works. I think it should. So let's start with the first one. So here's the first one. I'll give you guys 10 seconds, and I'll keep scrolling, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Okay, so let's see. A lot of you guys are doing very well, by the way. I'm very happy. Um, so I asked in the middle who's the fastest, and Rosa says you should tell us. I will tell you actually because I'm writing notes. So I've been taking notes. I'll tell you who's the fastest as we go. All right. So let's take a look. So the first one was B. So let me just go back up to B. B. There's B. All right, so something gained 5 kilograms since March, i.e. something gained 5 kilograms since March. So a lot of people have answered this correctly. I think everybody actually, not a lot of you, almost I think all of you. You got this right. So everybody's saying have for the first one. Good job. And the fastest answer for B was Muna. So Muna, very well done. The second question we have is, what do we have? So this guy is sitting and he looks more depressed really than sick, right? But anyway, it says Phil something taking medicine for his cold. Phil something taking medicine for his cold. And once again, everybody answered this one correctly. Paulo was the fastest for this one, so very well done, Paulo. And the answer is, right? So Phil, of course, is this guy over here, right? Phil is a man's name. So Phil is taking medicine for his cold. Very well done. Okay, D says, I something never had surgery. I something never had surgery. So again, everybody got this. Very well done. Nareen, Paulo, Ben, Ibtisam. Yeah, everybody got it right. Excellent. Very well done. So everybody said have, and that is the correct answer. I have never had surgery, or I've never had surgery. I've never had surgery. And surgery, all of these are words, by the way, from the vocabulary that we did before. You guys should know all these words. Next one. Oh, fastest one for the previous answer, D, was, again, Muna. Very well done, Muna. E, I have no idea why my eyes something watering so much. I have no idea why my eyes something watering so much. And this is what? This is E. Everybody is saying R. Very good. Joao, Patricia, Rafael, Hidayah, Rosa, Patricia, again, Jacqueline, Paolo, Nareen, Ibtisam. Everybody got it right. Very good. It's R, right? I have no idea why my eyes are watering so much. Microsoft wants me to fix my account. Not now. All right, so I have no idea why my eyes are watering so much. And watering, remember, we took this word also in the vocabulary, right? When your eyes water, that means usually something is bothering or annoying your eyes, so they get this liquid inside of them, right? And they start to sparkle. F. F says something you work out last night. And everybody, once again, because you guys are awesome, said, what is this? Sorry, F. Oh, F. Okay, so everybody said did. Yes, Muna, Joao, Jacqueline, Patricia, Rosa, Raphael. Everybody got it right. You guys are doing a great job today, and the answer is F. So Muna is killing it with the speed. So Muna's been the fastest in almost all the questions except for is, which Paulo took from her. So very well done. Elias says, hi Karim. Hi Elias. Very nice of you to come. Thank you very much. Ibtisam says allergy. I don't know. What do you mean? Oh, you mean watering? Your eyes are watering? Watering doesn't mean allergy, but your eyes could water because you have an allergy to something, right? So maybe I have an allergy to dust, and because of that, my eyes will start to water, right? But yeah, watering doesn't mean allergies, but you could get it from allergies. What? Watering is a shy cry. I'm not sure what you mean, Paolo, but I have a feeling that it's supposed to be really funny. Watering is a shy cry. It sounds funny to me. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys one last exercise before I let you go this week. So down to here. So it says write the sentences in different tenses, right? In different tenses. So like the first example. So you will be given one of the tenses and you have to write the others. So in the first one it says the present simple, she exercises. So the past simple is she exercised. The present continuous is she is exercising. Present perfect simple is she has exercised. And that's it, right? So you're just going to do that. And we're not going to do too much. So I'm going to do just these two, B and C. And I think that should be enough for this week. We're almost closing in on an hour. I'm just going to give you guys an extra 5 minutes for all this technical stuff that we did in the beginning. Edward says, my sink is watering. Is this question correct? No, it's not. But I'm not sure what you mean exactly. If you mean that your sink is, you know how sometimes when there's something wrong with your sink and water keeps dripping, right? And then you need to fix it. We don't say watering, we say leaking. So I'll write it for you in the chat so you see how it's spelt. But yeah, we say leaking, if that's what you mean. Okay, so I'll give you guys a few minutes. So let's just do B and C, and then I'll let you guys go. So put the music on, and I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Okay, as usual, you guys are you guys are great. Very good job. All right, so let's go through this, and I'll let you guys go. So the sentence that we have is we are working out together. We are working out together. Let me just first. Where's the thing? Huh? What happened to the? I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Sorry, guys. File, make a copy, just so I can type the answers in here so you can see the answers. But most of you got it right. So it's we are working out together. I can see a lot of people, the past simple, everybody's saying we worked out together. Yep. And the present simple is we work out together. Everybody, again, very good job. A lot of people answered that correctly. And the last one would be we have, right? So have, right? So we have worked out together. And I'll write it all for you guys so you can see it. But anyway, all of you got it right, because you guys are awesome. Okay, so the past simple, right? We have we worked out together. In the present simple, we work out together. And for the present perfect simple, it's going to be we have worked out together. So very well done, guys. Very, very well done. Good job. All right, C, it says he hasn't taken any pills. He hasn't taken any pills. So the past simple, again, a lot of people got this right. He didn't take any pills. Raphael, very good. He didn't take any pills. 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 Yeah, everybody's, again, everybody's answering very, very well. So everybody got that right. So past simple, he didn't take any pills. The present simple, he doesn't take any pills, is what you want to say. He doesn't take any pills. And again, a lot of people got that. Excellent. So Patricia got it. Why can't I see it? Where it's hard to try to see the answers when there's a lot of them, but that's good. Nareen got it right also. Yeah, almost everybody who answered really got this. Very well done. And the last one is he isn't taking any pills, right? So he isn't taking any pills. So he's not taking any pills. Yeah, that's basically the same thing, right? He isn't or he is not taking any pills. Very good. So yeah, so I think that is really that's pretty much it for this week. So I can't again thank you guys enough for coming. I really do appreciate it when you guys come. It makes my day. I enjoy this hour hanging out with you guys here. It's fun. I like it. So Osman says, Malik, is it live? I don't know, Osman. Do you think it's live? Yes, it is. I just talked to you. So yes, this is live, Osman. Welcome to the class, and thank you for coming. Although you're coming at the end, but you can watch the video after it's done. Okay, so I'll see you guys next Wednesday at the same time. And that is pretty much it. So remember, check me out, please, on my other food channel here on YouTube, and that is it's called Food AF, and you will find the links for that channel hopefully in the description of this video. So check me out over there. Go and join my my food tribe. Nadine says, thank you, Karim. You're very welcome. It was my pleasure. I had a lot of fun. Thank you. I wake up at 6 a.m., but the lesson started at 5 a.m. Whoa. Thank you a lot. You're very welcome, Sam. You guys are all very welcome. You don't have to thank me, really. I had a lot of fun. Thanks a lot. Jacqueline, you're welcome. And that's it, right? So yeah, so remember, if you like what we do here at Smrt, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like our videos, hit that bell button so you get notifications so you know when the new classes are going to be coming out. And if you want me to see something, right, please don't forget, comment in the comment section, not in the chat section where we're chatting right now, because after the stream is over, I cannot look or see the chat again, right? So if you want to leave something for me to see, or for any one of us to see and answer you back, please make sure that you leave it in the comment section in the YouTube video. And that's it, right? So please, once again, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, comment down below, like my other channel on YouTube, and I hope to see you there too. And actually, I wanted to start doing something with you guys before. Thanks, it was a great class. Thank you very much, UL. I appreciate that very much. You guys are all very, very welcome. But yes, as I was saying, I wanted to start to do something with you guys here just for fun, right? So we spend a lot of time studying and learning things, so just for fun, I was thinking at the end of every class, I am going to say a phrase or a sentence or something that I like from movies. So I'll say a very small phrase or sentence that I like from a movie, and your mission is to find out what movie is that from, and you have to tell me about it next week or in the comment section down below. Let's see how that goes, right? So we'll try just for fun. So this week's phrase is going to be, and I'm going to say it in the same way that they say it in the movie, right? So usually I speak, or I try to speak a little bit clearer for the lessons here, but I'm not going to do that when I do these quotes, right? So I'm going to say it the same way that it's in the movie, or at least I'm going to try. So so here's the first one. So I'll say this. You have to find out which movie it's from and comment down below or tell me about it next week. So the first phrase is, all right, all right, all right. And that's it. And Paulo says, yes, and you have to thumbs up. Don't forget to thumbs up. It's very important. It helps us, right? And it also shows us that, do you like what we're doing or do we need to change it? Dictation class. No, it's not dictation. I was just saying, this is just a game, Paulo, that I want to play with you guys, right? So every week at the end of the lesson, I'm going to say something from a movie that I like, and you have to find out which movie that is from and tell me about it if you can, okay? So one more time, I'll say the phrase. The phrase is, all right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. That sounds silly, but that's okay. All right, so thank you guys. That's it for me. I am going to head off now, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for giving me your time. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so I'll see you guys next week. Shpow.
What can